All right. This is my trade recap for this week. Okay. And I'm just going to start off going in chronological order with like a lot. These are just a lot of the good setups I found throughout the weekend that I took. So, Monday there really wasn't anything. I lost money, but then Tuesday I saw silver broke out of this consolidation, right? So Tuesday the 9th, it breaks out of this consolidation. So I'm watching it as the market opens. And we see that the pre-market high is right here where this gap is, like starting. And it retests. So, well, not the gap, consolidation. So it retests the consolidation and the pre-market high here. And then it gives you a second entry right here as it's retesting the 8 EMA. So since it's above these levels and it's retesting the 8 EMA, I'm putting in calls and I ride it all the way up. And you can add more here. So even if you missed the first move on Tuesday, there's a second move. Okay? There's a second move here. And then you could catch this, but then it kind of gets exhausted, right? So the later in the day, the lower the probability. Like, notice how it rests here for silver. It rests until about here, and then it starts to actually pop up to a new high of day. So that's kind of what happened with silver. It kind of trended for most of the day. But yeah, I caught it right around here. Right. And I was very wary this week because of the Fed announcement on Wednesday. So I did limit my size a lot on all my trades. And then the Fed decision day, so Wednesday, the 10th, 12:10, I was scanning for stocks and I noticed Uber. So Uber had a breakout day right here. This was the first breakout day, so I was looking for a day 2 trend back down. And notice the volume on this day 2 trend that I caught. It's way higher than these past one, like the average volume. So that's a good indication that it was a clean setup. All right. And I marked right here for you the previous day low and the pre-market low the pre-market low is right here. Doesn't matter. So we see that it opens and then we're just going to wait for a retest, right? So the flag forms here and then it basically touches the 8 EMA. All right, I'm not looking at it to the penny because if we look, the 8 EMA here is at 87.54 and then the high of this is at 87.46, so it's only a 9-cent difference. All right, 9 cents really doesn't mean something for a $87 stock. Right, this is a retest, and then you grab puts here, and you just keep riding it. Let's say you missed this. There's a second entry right here. Okay. Second entry on Uber right here. And then you can ride it all the way down to new lows. Now it's past 10 a.m. So there's definitely a higher probability for a reversal, and or like a pullback. I'm sorry, and we can see here it pulls back to the 10-minute, 8 EMA right here, and then it goes down even more. Okay, so on the 3-minute and the 10-minute, this strategy really worked on Wednesday. And yeah, it was a high quality setup. Nothing else to say here. I just want to show you guys what setups I'm looking at throughout the week. So far, we looked at silver and Uber, and also on Thursday, so the day after the Fed cut rates in the pre-market, we gapped down. We filled the overnight gap. And then, so really, because there's a lot of momentum here, because hedge funds are trying to reposition everything in the pre-market this day, we notice like there's an actual move here. It's going up, and it tries to respect VWAP, but then it cuts through. Okay, so I'm gonna mark the levels here for you. All right. So the trend switch here off open, and I'm not gonna sit here and wait for it to break these levels because of all the institutional volume that's in the market at this time, right? So we notice that there's an EMA crossover, and then the price action is below the EMAs and the VWAP. And there's a lot of momentum and volume on this candle, all right? This candle also breaks the daily 8 EMA, right? So it's pushing down through the daily 8 EMA, which is this purple line. So if you look on the daily chart, it's an 8 EMA, right? So it's pushing through this daily 8. I'm not going to sit here and just watch the trade go by. This is more of like a breakout trade, so I watched it break down with enough volume, and this is a strong body candle, so obviously I'm taking puts, and I just ride it all the way down until it starts to reverse. Okay, this is a good sign that it's going to reverse here. Even though buyers try to push this down, we can see in the next candle, all right, the volume is more, and it's starting to turn upwards now. This is not a pullback, or it could have been a pullback, but that's not the way it played out, right? All right, the volume is higher. We're not gonna sit in here and wait for it to reverse on us. And with the QQQ trade on this day, I did not trade 0 days because of the levels, right? So I wanted it to be below the previous day low. I caught it here. This was not the previous day low, so I just stuck to my plan, and I still made profit, even though it wasn't a 0 day. All right, and then this was a reversal, so I'm not going to sit in this candle and wait to lose like 20% of my gains, and then I was out, right? And then Friday, I did 2 really good trades. The first one was another QQQ setup, and the reason why I didn't take SPY over QQQ, right? They had the same downwards trend, but let's look at the daily chart. SPY is still in this zone here. SPY is still in this zone, right? Like you can see it. QQQ, on the other hand, is actually broke. It's more of a parabolic move for QQQ, right? It's broke in this zone. So that's why I took QQQ as more percentages wise. It was also a bigger move, so 1.91 compared to 1.08. That's kind of why I took QQQ puts, and there's many entries here. All right, so if I did the levels, like obviously we get the level break here, but also my other conviction for a breakout trade on QQQ was this consolidation here. So markets consolidation is in pre-market, and we still have this is the second day after the Fed rate cut announcement, so we're going to still have more institutional volume. So if I see this consolidation being broken and these strong candles down, obviously I'm taking puts, even before these pre-market and previous day levels, right? Because it's flagging out, it's still following the same patterns I see every day on the regular trades that I take, right? And I also took AVGO, right? So this trade, they had earnings this day, and then we see that they're down like 5% in the pre-market. So I'm like, okay, if I see negative momentum or a relative weakness, then I'm gonna take it, and it goes way lower than it has way more momentum than QQQ this day. And look, so we're taking puts here, taking puts here, taking puts here, and you ride it all the way down. This one went down all day because it had relative weakness. Notice how even when QQQ moved up from 1145 to 115, look at AVGO. All right, it just kind of consolidates because it has the relative weakness. So that when QQQ pushes down some more, AVGO makes newer lows. So this is kind of the reason why you look for relative weakness in the markets, because it kind of saves you and puts you at a higher probability position to take these kinds of trades, right? So we can even see on the 30-minute time frame. On the 30-minute, if you did a 1 week expiration for AVGO, it taps the AEMA, and you can ride puts for 2 hours and make probably 100% on these contracts. So it was a very good play on AVGO. But yeah, that's kind of what I traded throughout the week. A+ entries, high quality setups, and that is what you should be looking for when you're trying to find trades throughout the week with my specific strategy, right? So you want to look for trend continuation, because that's what options really thrive with. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and a comment and subscribe.